the EasyJet driver, he's got a coach and there's some seats, but I think there's about 8 of us. And he goes, "Who did you fly with?" And we're like, "Ryanair." And he's like, "No, who did you fly with?" And points at his sign. And we're like, "EasyJet, EasyJet."
Long drives, late nights, and lobby calls. This podcast has it all. With Lewis Left.
All right then. Hello there. My name is Lewis Left. Welcome to the show, Long Drives, Late Nights and Lobby Calls. This is a podcast that's mainly to do with the realities of the live music industry, bringing you some real stories from the people on stages to everyone else behind the scenes. But I think I need to switch it up a little bit more because most of the stories are just going to be smelly dudes in the back of a van. I'm not about that life. I'm not about
There's
that
only
life.
So many stories you can have about smelly dudes in the back of a van.
Absolutely. So today, introducing and serving you Jaime Sheerin with me today. Say hello, Jamie. How are you doing?
Hello, Jamie. I'm good. Such a dad joke. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I can't believe we've been in lockdown for a year, like you said before. It is insane.
It's been a whole year. I remember it was a really, really hot sunny day, and like it was just so busy. It was like everyone was on the beach, and it was just like
like having the last day of freedom.
Hurrah! Big up, hurrah!
I miss that.
Yeah,
I want one last hurrah.
But hopefully we'll be able to hurrah soon. Maybe
have many a hurrah coming in the future.
So Jamie does mainly at the moment digital marketing, but is also a radio presenter. I want to call you a personality because I think you're like if you were to be, not to shit on like I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, but sometimes when they put celebrities on and I have no idea who they are, maybe it's just because
that would be me.
But I'd also be like Jamie's on, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here.
That's amazing. I'm going to put that on my CV.
Yeah. Lewis Left said I could be on I'm a Celeb.
Yeah, I'm a personality that no one knows, but you want to know.
No, absolutely. But yeah, so you do podcasting, you have your Northern Jam show on Platform B, and I mean, Rochdale supporter, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's my hometown. I've been to that football ground numerous times, had a hot chocolate there. My brother was like a goalkeeper for like the kids team. For some point, like he was signed. There's still a picture of him in our living room signing it. So I'd say I'm not super into football, but I'll go for Rochdale.
You've got to represent your roots. You've got to represent.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, my Uncle Billy is the mayor of Rochdale.
No way.
Yeah, so I've got some status, you know.
I'm a celeb, here we come.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, so over the last year, I've been lucky enough, obviously, see you before, and I bumped into you, and you were really excited because you were getting some interviews for doing some digital marketing.
Yeah.
So, how did all that go? Tell me.
Well, I mean, I got the job, so I think it went all right. But it's been the maddest year because I was pretty much unemployed almost to an extent, like as a lot of people were throughout the lockdown.
Yeah.
So I went from that to kind of going back to my job a little bit whilst interviewing for a job, a digital market, like the internships at Sony. And I'd never thought like digital marketing is my dream, but I just really wanted to get into the music industry. I had experience in that area and I thought, you know what, I'm pretty interested in it enough to kind of work within the area. Right, so how do I get there? And I think internships are a really good like entry level way just to build your experience whilst getting paid, because it is a paid one, thank God. Like who can deal with not having that nowadays?
Yeah, that's terrible if you wasn't paid.
And it was just mad, like few interview rounds and stuff, and I think I found out in like November that I was getting the job.
Yeah, sick.
And it was mad because it was like a 3-month process. So, and I knew I was down to like me and another person. So I was like, I don't know because it was all over Zoom. So it's not like we were going into an office. Whoever it is, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But also not sorry.
Also.
Yeah.
But and then I worked a bit over Christmas and then pretty much started in January. So like 2021, like super fresh start.
Nice. New year, new me.
New year, new me, new job.
Come at me.
Yeah, exactly. But it's been like mad because obviously I studied music and I studied vocals. And you don't know what a record label is like until you get in one or until you've experienced part of one, like I'm sure you have with touring.
Yeah.
And then you also realize how small the music industry is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like on one of our videos the other day that like we got sent out to the company, it was like the year in lockdown almost review. Yeah. And like Justin Jesso was on the video.
Oh, really?
And I was
Sick.
like, I sent it to Mars and I was like, what a small world. Like,
yeah. I completely forgot to even mention that you're a musician as well. Like you've got songs, you've got multiple podcasts, you've got a regular like show, and you're doing digital marketing. I would only be able to do one of those things, and it's what we're doing right now. so
well, thank you, Lewis.
No, you're welcome.
So nice.
You're welcome. Has it been difficult at all, like transitioning to like a air quotes proper job?
Yeah, I mean, I've never had a proper job. Like this is my first one, and it's
not even like some random retail kind of.
Oh no, I've had like a proper job, but like I mean,
stepping stone throwaway bollocks.
Yeah, I mean, like a proper like I've always been like, what am I getting an hour? You know, what's the hourly pay?
Yeah. Now they're like salaries. You're like,
now it's like salary pay. Yeah, and now it's like, oh, do you want to pay into your pension or like healthcare?
you're like,
yeah, what? I literally had to call my mum like, do I pay into my pension?
Oh my god, please pay into your pension. Yeah,
I did. I did. My mum was like, put like a certain amount. Like it's nothing, but it's like all these things that I guess constitute a proper job that you wouldn't get working in a shop in the North Lanes, which I was doing just before.
Yeah.
What was the question?
It was
the transition. That's nothing to do with you. My brain is like mush at times.
No. So for everyone who, I mean, no one knows, but I normally record kind of earlier in the day. But Jamie has been really nice and been able to finish work, quickly eat some food, and then jump on a Zoom with me. So I'm forever grateful.
It's all about that grind, you know?
It just doesn't stop.
Never stops. This is what I do on a Thursday. I finish work and then I hop on the radio. But I love it. Like, I think if you love something, like, you want to do it. And I was honoured when you asked me on the podcast. Like, I just love chatting. Like, that's why I call myself Jamie Chats With in my interview thing. It's been a weird transition starting from home, but also, like, it's been quite nice. And during lockdown, it's given me something to focus on that's not just like, okay, I'm going to wake up today and what am I going to do? Because
self-motivating.
I'm on furlough and I've actually been more motivated and do more stuff because I'm the sort of person, the more I'm doing, the more I want to do.
Yeah. The more you do, the better you feel, and the kind of more motivation comes with being like doing something.
Yeah, exactly.
Has it kind of opened a door to what you want to do later on type of thing, or is this right now you're like just got to focus on this and then hopefully something else will happen?
I still don't know. I don't know what I want to do.
Trust me, 28, I haven't got a clue. It's weird. I'm like, make a plan, Jamie, you've got to do something. But I'm like, was there a moment that you kind of realized,
no, I know what you mean, like this is where I am for the foreseeable at least. Yeah, it's just, I mean, at Ministry we've got 2 songs in the top 10 at the moment, I think.
Oh. Sorry, you're gonna have to educate me.
Maybe. Well, they're all like, yeah, exactly. I talk to like a lot of people and they're like, who?
Yeah.
But like Writ on Friday, you know, it's like it's Friday then. And then
I've been listening to that.
Hume,
I love that song. It's great. Yeah.
It's good. It's so good.
Yeah.
And then Goosebumps, which is like a Travis Scott remix by one of our artists, Hume, like a DJ.
Yeah.
And we've got Doja Cat, so she's obviously got Streets in the top 20, I think it is at the moment. But yeah, it's just when I realized I was in like a record label was when I was like, I'm here. I've still not had that moment where I've accepted that this is me because and I've got it. It's a bit of imposter syndrome. It's a mixture of things, but it's very much a case of I feel like I'll fully feel like, oh yeah, I got this job when I'm in the office and when it's like physical. Because right now I feel like I'm acting.
Your surroundings haven't changed at all.
Yeah, I'm coming to work in my bedroom, literally where I'm sat right now, typing away, having some calls with some people, and then going and having my dinner downstairs. Like, there's nothing that is really like, oh my God, Well, in terms of like, I'm here. That's why I still don't believe it. But I also think it is just a case of every single day there is something new I'm learning.
Yeah,
like it's not the same thing.
Nah,
like
it never.
It's stressful sometimes because you're like, what? Is this?
And what makes it, not what makes it stressful, but is there an aspect of your brain that you feel like everyone else is on a similar page that you aren't?
I know what you mean. I feel like yes and no. Yes, because I'm new, but I'm also giving myself the chance to be like, I've been here for 3 months. Like, give yourself a break. But also, little secret, everybody is faking it. Yeah. No one has a clue.
Oh, I see. I'm pretty sure when you told me about the interview, I remember I think I did that interview, but I did it while I was still at uni. And I remember like as soon as I sat down in the room, and they were like, right, okay, cool, like tell us about yourself, and went through all the kind of typical interview questions. They were like, we see you're still studying. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, that's an issue. And I'm like, no, it's not, it's fine, don't worry about it. Like I tour manage full time as well. Like it's cool, don't worry about it. And they're like, no, it's definitely an issue.
No, yeah.
But then I carried on with the day, just was like, yeah, it'll be fine, whatever. And I remember the scenarios they put you through were quite, I don't know, they obviously were looking for a one-click answer with the scenario that they put you through. And what I noticed was everyone in that room was all trying to articulate a dream, essentially, to sound really, really, really important, or maybe be the loudest person in the room. And I kept being like, yeah, but how are you actually going to do that? You're saying all of these terms and you're using loads of abbreviations, which are great, but how are you actually gonna fucking do that? And that's what I kind of found. And then I was like, this is a bit weird. So yeah,
but I feel like it's also like a northern thing. Like there's like a fair few interns, and on the first day, not saying it's bad to big yourself up, but I feel like northerners, we just can't do it. Like we just can't. We don't have that bone in our body. So everyone went round like, what have you done before this? Like, what were you doing before this? Where were you working? We all had to introduce ourselves. And thankfully, there was this guy from Scunthorpe called Ben, and he went before me, and he said, because I was sat there like, what am I going to say? Shit. I've been working in a shop. I've been on furlough. I've got nothing really. Like everyone's been like, I've done this and that, and that's amazing. Like not putting them down at all. Like big yourself. But I didn't have that, or at least I didn't think I did, because again, northernness.
Yeah, totally.
And this guy just goes, yeah, so I was working at Morrison's before here, and now I'm here. And I told him afterwards, I was like, I was so happy when you said that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I just needed someone to say I was working at Morrison's. And I was like, yeah, I was working in a shop in the North Lanes, but I'm here now. Like, because we're all on the same like playing field, and no one was, you're trying to big yourself up, but like just be you, like be genuine. It'll get you to the places that you need to go.
Absolutely.
And if being you is bigging yourself up, that's amazing. Like do your thing. But I think sometimes it's just saying, it's just, You
sound very assured of yourself. So you kind of know that you're like, yeah, that's cool. Like that's their thing. But I'm
semi-assured. Like again, it's a facade.
Yeah. Just little things like, I do it now every time I see someone that I've seen before, like in the building of the flat, or even if they're just walking around and I've seen them before. I'm always like, all right, and they just look at you, and they're looking at you like, mate, I don't know who you are, and I'm like, no, I'm just being friendly.
Literally, so Liv's our mutual friend for anyone new listening to the podcast.
Oh yeah.
So she came up to Manchester because we went to the Lake Districts last summer with my family. And like I took her to like my local park because she wanted to do like a run or whatever. And on the way there, like people walking past with their dogs being like, morning, you're right, and like saying all this stuff. And I was like, morning. And Liv was just stood there like,
what? Do you know all these people? Jamie,
I think she actually said that. Do you know these people? I was like, no. This is just up north. This is just what we do. But I love that. That. Like, and just, keep on doing it.
Yeah, just the streets, man.
Exactly.
Cool. Right. Oh, God. Amazing. This has been fantastic. So I'm going to try and get you into some tales of the road. So you told me before this, which is something I don't know, that you actually have a dual nationality. So you're not originally
You're not original. You are not from round
You're not
here.
an original Northerner. What are you talking about? No, you. So you actually have a different. What? Yeah, you have a Canadian citizenship. Is that correct?
Yeah. So my mum's Canadian. So half my family's over there. My parents lived in Canada for a little bit, but my dad is born and bred Rochdale, but lived over there, and they've got a whole story, but that would take me like 10 minutes to say, and I'll write a book about it one day and you can all read it.
Yeah, look forward to it.
But yeah, so dual nationality. So from like literally 3 months old, I guess I was traveling without even realizing. Like my mum's got these proper funny passport pictures of me and my twin brother, and I think you only had to have one picture because we were twins, but it said like Jake and Jamie on the passport. Because how are you meant to tell, like, why do you need your individual ones at that age when you're both bald and small? Like so yeah, we were like hopping on the plane then because all the family over there wanted to see us, and yeah, I've been there a fair few times. It's a good trip.
Oh, okay. Have you got any? So this is the synopsis of the whole show. I want to hear some disaster stories from the road. Now, it doesn't have to be disaster. I'm just looking.
It's about the travel, because I have disaster stories
when it comes to travel. But I remember, I think you were vlogging it or something, so I was like watching it. But you basically gone on a girls' holiday to like Ireland or something.
It was my 21st birthday to Dublin.
Shit. And I saw just loads of stuff went wrong. But
it was do you remember the Gatwick drone?
I thought that was bollocks. I thought it was actually bollocks.
Well, it wasn't bollocks because all the planes got cancelled. And well, it was bollocks. I think there was a drone, but who knows? There was a lot of conspiracy around it. But on the day we're flying back, all hanging out of our ass because it was my 21st, and we were only there for the weekend, so we were like, every night we're there, we're gonna get drunk. And I think the night before in the day we'd been to the Guinness factory, and the night we'd been out to the clubs in Dublin, just absolutely smashed. Half the house had thrown up. You know, we thought, right, today we're going to have a lovely breakfast in Dublin and then explore the city a little bit. By this point, we hadn't, because we'd literally just been we'd just been getting drunk, you know. And then we see on our phones, like, because we had a late night flight, that there's this drone and all the flights are getting cancelled. So we're like, we best go to the airport. Anyway, we get to the airport. Bear in mind, I think this is 2 or 3 days before Christmas. So everyone's then stressing like, I'm not going to get home for Christmas. And I was like, for God's sake. So one of my friends actually books a separate flight home to Birmingham instead of coming back to London.
What a traitor, just leaves you all.
What?
What a traitor, she just left you all.
Yeah, I know. So she got home, but then we eventually got the flight on the evening.
Okay.
But then it flew to Stansted instead of Gatwick.
Oh, no.
So then Ryanair, I think it was, were meant to put on a coach for us to Gatwick so we could get back to the original stop. So we go to this coach bit and they're like, there's no Ryanair coach here. You're in Stansted, middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, literally.
And the EasyJet driver, he's got a coach and there's some seats, but I think there's about 8 of us. And he goes, who did you fly with? And we're like, Ryanair. And he's like, no, who did you fly with?
Yeah,
and points at his sign. And we're like, EasyJet. And my best friend Neve is like, yeah, my dad's called Kevin EasyJet. Like, we need to get on here. So we managed to get back to Gatwick, I think at like 1 or 2 in the morning. And then we have to get a really expensive minibus from Gatwick to Brighton in the rain, like the terrible rain. Because I have to get out and get everyone's cash out because everyone in the back fell asleep because it was a long day whilst the bloody taxi driver is trying to have a conversation with me, and I'm like
and you're like, look mate, I like to have a waffle, but shut up, I'm hanging out of my arse.
But I am, and I'm knackered, you know. I was like, absolutely not. So it's part of the story now, but at the time it was like, oh my God. But I have the worst. If we're talking about the road, like my history with travel is horrific.
Really?
Like I booked a flight to Amsterdam with my best friend when I was 19, got cancelled.
Oh no.
Talking about Canada, flew back from Canada. The plane from Canada was delayed to Heathrow, which then I got to the coach thing, had to pay for a new ticket to Gatwick. Then the coaches were getting cancelled and delayed. Got to Gatwick eventually. All the trains were off. There wasn't a coach for 2 hours. I hadn't slept for 28 hours because I didn't sleep on the flight. So I was awake the whole time.
Oh, no.
And I get there and they say, oh, there might be some trains running, but you're not going to get them. Because they're about to get cancelled.
Dangle that carrot.
And our coach isn't coming for like 2-3 hours in this like cold little waiting area. I started crying to this woman.
I
had a breakdown.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm next to this man who I always weirdly see around Brighton. And I'm like, you've seen me at my
crying on 32 hours.
You've seen me at my lowest point, like almost screaming at this woman in tears. Because it says there's a coach in 20 minutes and it's 3 hours. Anyway, I thought, I'm going to test my luck. I'm going to see if I can get a train. Ran with a massive suitcase to the train thing. Yeah. Queues upon queues upon queues. Go to the help desk and I'm like, can you please just give me a ticket to get through the barriers? I'll pay any money. Just do it. Just and he's like, there's this one ticket machine around the corner that people may or may not be using. But if they're not, there won't be a queue. So just go and see there. There was no queue. Yeah. Got a ticket. Boom. Ran to the platform. Got on the train, and then called my dad again, crying like, "Dad, I've had the worst time."
I'm on the fucking train.
Yeah, I'm the person you don't want to travel with.
Oh, remind me to never go on tour with you. Oh my Lord, you'll add the anxiety tenfold.
Yeah, it's just always something bad happens.
Well, luckily the disasters aren't anything more than just lateness and kind of cancellations and stuff.
Yeah, and not lateness to my own
No, it's not like you being ill prepared or anything like that. Yeah, you're like, you just turn up and they're like, oh yeah, you're not a plane that you booked. Yeah, no, it's just not happening, mate. There is another one if you want to book that.
But it's always on the way back, which I'd actually prefer.
Yeah.
It's never on the way there. I mean, if I make it there at all, because like for Amsterdam, we didn't make it there at all because it was snow. That was the snow's fault that time.
Oh, really? See, talking Amsterdam and talking Dublin, there was one show when I first. I don't know if me and Miles have chatted about this, but when I first met Justin Gesso, I was flying out by myself from Gatwick to Amsterdam to do these showcases. One was in Amsterdam, one was in Oslo. And I turned up and the flight was cancelled. But basically, I got an email from EasyJet at like 2 a.m, and it was a really early flight, so I was asleep anyway. So I woke up to this email, but it was all in German because the label had booked it. And I read a few words, and I was like, okay, it just sounds like a cancellation policy.
Yeah.
Little did I know, they were actually just telling me right there and then the plane is cancelled. So I could have saved myself this whole ordeal. But the best part about it was I get there and in my head I'm just laughing because I'm thinking there are other flights going to Amsterdam in London.
Yeah.
The power of the label will just chuck me on another flight.
Yeah.
And shout out Yvonne, I'd never met her before, but she was the one handling that show, and she was just like, get in an Uber, like fall asleep in the Uber, you'll wake up at Heathrow, here's the plane, here's your, and they just sorted it all out for me. So I'm sat in this queue trying to get my bags back. So the whole point of me trying to like not really stressing out was like, just give me my bags and I can go. But I was in a queue of people who were pissed, and it was
that the flight was cancelled.
Yeah, and it was just the funniest thing in the world. And then I got there and we did the show, and it was fantastic. Like, it was really.
You got there in the end.
I literally walked in and sound check. I literally walked in at like.
Oh my God! You didn't have a second to yourself.
Yeah, so I literally walked in, like chucked my coat and my bag on the floor, and was just like, right, yeah, can I get the keyboards, please?
Oh my God!
I literally never met Justin before. He just like clapped my hand. He was like, cool.
Wow.
Should we go do
That's
this?
the thing. Like on the way there, it's going to mess up plans, isn't it? Yeah. But on the way back, you can just. Most of the time just be like, this is life.
So me, Charlie Boswell and Kelvin were first touring. It was just us three, and we'd done the show at the Olympia in Dublin, and it was great. It was supporting James Morrison. The tour had been a roller coaster of emotions, if I'm honest, and it was the last show before we went out on the Euro run, but we had like a week or two to break, so we were like really looking forward to it. Anyway, the guitarist for James was Irish, and he got us into this bar, and it was like we were hanging with the locals, and it was great. We had a really, really good night. We went to some club, and it's
always bound to be a good night in Dublin.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. And it was a decent night. I had to round up Boz and Kelvin. Kelvin somehow locked himself in a toilet cubicle at one point for like an hour. So I found him, got him and Boz into bed. I was like, right, get him into bed. Pint of water next to them. Set my alarm, woke up, getting them all up and whatnot. And the only food we had was this massive bag of Doritos chili heat wave when we woke up. So I'm
you don't
like,
want that on a hangover.
Yeah, and I'm like, nah, I'm cool. So I was really smart. I just I felt a bit tired, but I was all good. And then jump in the cab, and we're like driving on the. I think I'm in the front, and chatting away to the driver. And the driver's like super chatty, and all I can hear in the background is like the crunching of these crisps. I'm thinking, fucking hell, man, like they're going to town on those crisps.
Yeah.
And I remember like Kelvin just put them down at one point, and Boz was just like, "Oh, are you done with those?" And Kelvin's like, "Yeah, man, like they're yours. Go for it." And he's like, "Okay, great." And then I didn't realize at the time, but he was like, we got out of the car, we're getting all the gear out, and Boz just runs to this bin and he puts the Doritos in the bin. I was like, "What's going on?" And he was like, "I threw up in that bag of Doritos."
And you didn't hear it?
I had no idea. I just thought they were eating the crisps, and I was like, because I remember the guy was like, "Oh, you better not be sick. You better not be sick, because that'll be €60 type of thing." And I was like, "Oh god."
He was a silent.
So he threw up. He chundered in this bag of Doritos, and then he's looking worse for wear. But he's like, "I feel way better now." I'm like, "All right, cool." Then we jump on the flight, and we're at the back. And I remember Boz had never flown before this. Boz had never flown before. He'd never flown before this tour. And the first plane we got was from Glasgow to Dublin, and we were in like a propeller flight. It was like terrible, and I was like, so. And then at this time, we're coming back from Dublin, we're hungover, and I'm like, "Oh, we're sat at the back," and I'm like, "Oh, Boz, at the back of the plane, you feel it a lot more. Like it's a lot more like it's way more powerful. Like, so just like prepare yourself for that." And he's like, "Oh yeah." And I'm just trying to wind him up, basically, just trying to freak him out. Not freak him out, like actually shit him up, but I knew he was nervous, and he was not letting me on that he was nervous. If he just said, "Oh yeah, I'm a bit nervous," I'm like, "Mate, it's totally fine." But I was like, "We're at the back of the plane. You get to feel the G-force more. It's great." Anyway, so I
get to feel the G-force.
Yeah, we take off and everything's fine. It's like a roller coaster. And I'm sat in the middle. I've got Kelvin on my right, Boz on my left, and I just fold my arms up and trying to sleep on the table in front of me. And obviously, this is super uncomfortable. And Boz just starts fidgeting, and Kelvin starts fidgeting so much, and they're trying to get a drink or something. I'm just like, "Mate, shut up! I'm trying to go to sleep." And all of a sudden, Kelvin just whispers in my ear, "Lewis, do not fucking move. Like, do not move a millimeter." And I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" He's like, "I'm just." Yeah, okay, cool, right, okay, yeah, is that in the bin? All right, fantastic. Right, Lewis, you can stay there, mate, you're all good. And basically Boz just kept throwing up and was passing bags over my head to Kelvin to then put in the bin.
Oh, that is disgusting.
It was so rough.
That is so gross. I can't even chat though, because I used to be really airplane sick when I was a kid.
Oh no!
Even to the point so much that I knew I was going to be sick on the plane. So like I'd be sick before I got on the plane and then after.
Oh no! But you were never sick on the plane though.
Oh, I was sick on the plane. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it got to the point. Yeah, as well, where my parents would starve me for the day. So say we're flying to Canada, God. we get up a couple hours before. And I would starve myself out of choice, because you don't want to throw up on a plane. It's gross.
Oh, no.
And they just like have, like you go to the airport, you have a nice breakfast, you have some drinks. So I'd be there like, what can Jamie have? And like maybe if I was lucky, it's a slice of toast,
No.
Whilst they're all there like full English breakfast. We get on the plane, it's just bound to happen.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing up. And my mum couldn't sit with me because my mum is like afraid of vom. So
I would say I'm the same. Which is probably why Kelvin was like, "Do not move."
Yeah.
If I see someone being sick, I'm like, oh, okay, literally. I'm going as well.
And so like my dad would have to sit with me, and like, yeah, it was, I took all the pills, all the like travel bans, all the remedies, just nothing worked. It was just age and like the like pressure in my ears and whatnot. Like, yeah, it's good that you don't get it if you're like on tour a lot.
All the time.
Imagine if you were like the person on tour that like you're in the van and every like other time they wouldn't hire you again.
Has there been a moment of your career so far that you would kind of designate as your favorite moment of your career so far?
When I was like interviewing at the Great Escape, so I had just a really fun weekend, hectic, but I was going to gigs, and then also like basically I asked for a press pass and they wouldn't give me one because I didn't have like a publication or whatever behind me, or
like a
enough
that you were working for.
Yeah, or enough material out there or whatever it was, because they only have a limited amount at the Great Escape. So I just started emailing all these managers and artists myself, like trying to get interviews with people. So got some in the end with like Bang Bang Romeo, who like went on tour with Pink from Doncaster. They were like a bang. They were so much fun.
Wow.
Such a laugh. Interviewed a woman called Ruth Ann, who's like a singer, and she wrote for Jojo, and then the next day she was flying out to go write with John Legend in LA. And then like Orchards, like obviously they're a Brighton band, but they're still so lovely. Some of these videos didn't ever come out because I lost the memory card.
Oh shit.
But I'm hoping like maybe when I move I'll find it one day, or like it'll be in a pocket somewhere. But half of them did. Shay's Universe, she's this like amazing R&B artist who has now done stuff with like Koji Radical and like Etta Bond and all that sort of stuff, but it was her first ever festival and I got to interview her, and so that whole weekend was just a highlight because it was just like you put in what you get out. It was just an example of that. Like I'd messaged about 100 managers and got like 10 or so interviews back, and just met some really cool people that like just was so nice and was just give me a different experience of the music industry. Like me, Liv, and our friend Taryn got into like a Vivo brunch where like there was loads of like, we weren't on the list but we somehow wangled our way in, and there was loads of like industry people in there, and we, looking back, we looked young and like we didn't know what we were doing. And it was like free prosecco and free breakfast, and we're like, what are we doing here? So that whole weekend, that Great Escape, and it was the last Great Escape we had actually, so like 2019. And I sacked off doing all my uni work because it was all my deadlines that weekend. And I just went,
so done.
I'm just going to live my life. But that was a big highlight. I think this is another thing. We managed to like get into Lewis Capaldi for free. Like that weekend, because they give us at the Brighton Dome.
Oh yeah, Tom Grennan was at the market, I think.
Yeah, and Frank and Rattlesnakes.
Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes.
Yeah, he was at the old market. But Lewis Capaldi was obviously just getting big at the time, and they give out a few free tickets, and we happened to be in the right place at the right time.
You just like,
so it was like me, Miles, Liv, and Millie, like just saw him like on this Channel 4 show because they were filming it for Channel 4 or some sort of TV, and that whole weekend was just like one of my favorite experiences.
Okay, so before we end then, we're gonna do a sharing is caring. So this is just something that I just, people listening, watching or whatever, just want to give them something else to kind of go on to. So it can be anything, it can be like an article, it can be a video, it can be a Netflix series, it can be an album, it can be whatever you want. Do you want to go first, or would you like me to go first to give you some time?
Can I give a piece of advice?
That's perfect.
Like finish it. So something I'd say that I've learned this past year is like, I've kind of like echoed it throughout this, but like believe in yourself, because I feel like it's so cheesy, but a lot of people I've found out don't, and I didn't for like a really long time until I got like, even now it takes a while. Like I think everyone in the music industry to an extent has like an imposter syndrome vibe, but like believe in yourself, like believe in your source, and like stay genuine to who you are, and you'll get where you need to go. Like you'll end up, what is meant for you will come, and you'll end up where you're meant to be. And I just feel like
super powerful. Sounds a little bit Bimini Bombulash, if I'm honest. I don't know if you've watched any of it.
I love that. I love that you've related me to
Love
Bimini.
Yourself, say that again.
A PMA. It's a positive mental attitude.
Fucking too right. I wish she went last now, because mine's really just like.
Sorry, you can edit it the other way around.
Maybe I do a switcheroo now. Just keep it raw, man. The Tiny Desk, Justin Bieber did a Tiny Desk. It's really sick. For people who are like, Justin Bieber, oh no, is, I definitely was part of that stigma way before I think he released the album Purpose or something.
Same.
Sorry and all that stuff. I was never into Justin Bieber. I was like, oh no.
Oh no, I was a believer, but for a few years I was like, not sure.
Not sure, Justin. You're
not sure.
But yeah, it's a really good. I mean, he's obviously grown up. He's writing a lot about his past, and I mean, chuck money and chuck stardom at someone who's 14, and you're breeding someone who's just gonna fail. So, but it looks like he's on the way up, type of thing. I mean, someone within his position has got a lot to be grateful for, but also it's a really good performance. It's an NPR Tiny Desk. I love them.
Yeah.
And if you've got time,
in that ilk, also Billie Eilish documentary
on Apple TV. I haven't watched it yet. Apparently, it's banging.
It's so good, and it's got the same vibes that you were talking about, like someone trying to figure their way out at a young age. And Billie's young, just amazing.
Like it just they haven't developed and they haven't figured out what they like doing, and they haven't been able to go to the shops and just be a normal kid or anything, So,
but that's like teen stars in America, isn't it? Like, but she handles it really well. It's really interesting. I would recommend.
Oh, fantastic!
As a more like low key one, Believe in Yourself and Billie Eilish.
The BBE, Believe Billie Eilish.
BBE.
Oh, wicked! Oh, Jamie, thank you for joining me this evening. It's been fantastic.
It's been a pleasure.
If people want to get involved with your many career paths, so where would they find you?
Probably the best place at Jamie Chats With on Instagram. So that's Jamie Jaime, because no one ever knows how to spell it. And then come find me on TikTok. I'm Jaime Shee, so same way spelling Jamie and then SHE.
Oh,
because I've been listening to an album every day for the past, I'm doing it for 30 days just to I don't have enough music in my life apparently, so I asked for more. So yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Come on over there.
Fantastic. Cool. Well, you heard it here first. Jamie Chats With. Instagram, go on TikTok, Jaime Shee. I mean, I'm gonna do it. Me and Anna send each other stupid TikToks all the time. So
I just think, if you want to get into the digital marketing space or even the music industry in some capacity, you gotta be on TikTok. That's what I've learned. I hear the word TikTok in every single meeting. So.
Really? Oh my god. Well, yeah. I mean, if your song's used on a viral.
Look at Olivia Rodrigo, driver's license.
Mate, literally that, and I mean, The Weeknd. Obviously, The Weeknd, Blinding Lights.
Oh yeah, Blinding Lights
was going to be a banger, but then
The Weller Man.
It just went to a whole nother. And then that guy, the sea shanty guy.
Yeah, Weller Man.
That was that. Is that it? Oh,
yeah.
Shows how educated I am.
No, it's all right. I have to know this because this is chart music. I'm not even. Yeah. Weller Man's in the charts.
Oh god, that's amazing.
He's ahead of us. Stream Riton Friday.
Oh yeah, Friday again.
There we go.
Wicked. All right, Jamie, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see everyone else soon. See you soon.
Bye.
I won't, but you know what I mean. Bye.